Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 1st, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We had a nice New Year's Eve indoors. I did not do a thing. It was very nice. Let's see here. I do have a food corner to talk about. I made a special little dish for myself. I went and I got catfish and the stuff I needed to make it, the proper, at least some of the proper ingredients, I'll say. And I decided to make catfish, fried catfish, rice, and some toast. And it was a nice little simple dish. I added some lettuce in there for some greens and some onions, stuff like that. But yeah, it turned out like really good. It was really yummy. I was so happy about it. Let's see here. Also, this morning, afternoonish, I had a little nice snack. I had bought some hummus from the store. It was like this like red pepper hummus or whatever. And that was pretty good. Got it with the little Stacy's pita chips. So yeah, humming along very nicely. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I really, I was asleep by I want to say maybe 10 o'clock, but then of course due to my insomnia, I woke up like maybe 20 minutes after the bell or the ball dropped, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just hang out in 2024 for a few hours and go back to bed. But yeah, it's been nice. It's been chill. Like I said, the vacation continues, with having Monday off and whatnot. But let me get into my Patreon shout outs, my newsies. Gotta show love. Gotta say thank you. Gotta say what's up. Stephanie Renee, Denver McIntosh, Edward Haas. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do financially and all the support you give me, off pod, off book, whatever, just saying hi and being cool people. You guys are great. I love y'all. Thank you very much. Hearts, 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 hearts. So yeah, we got that done. Yay. Let me do my startup and then we'll get into some news. And it's funny, right? Like you think new year, new news, which of course we're gonna get to that. But I got to catch up. I still got to play some catch up. You know what I mean? So I figured we'll talk about a little bit of some older news I didn't quite get to last week, and we'll cover it today since I got time. Ooh, yeah. All right. Our first story comes from Bleeping Computer. Integris Health patients get extortion emails after cyber attack. Integris Health patients in Oklahoma are receiving blackmail emails stating that their data was stolen in a cyber attack on the healthcare network. And if they did not pay an extortion demand, the data would be sold over to threat actors. Integris Health is Oklahoma's largest not for profit health network, operating hospitals, clinics, and urgent care throughout the state. The healthcare network confirmed they suffered a cyber attack in November that led to the theft of their data, or their patient data. Let's see here. Upon becoming aware of the suspicious activity, Integris Health promptly took steps to secure the environment and commenced an investigation into the nature and scope of the activity. The investigation determined that certain files may have been accessed by an unauthorized party on November 28th of 2023. Now, that's obviously very upsetting. It's very worrying, but that's kind of like, okay, well, we got to wait for the shoe to drop. But then, of course, the shoe does drop, and an extortion email sent to patients on December 24th, the hackers claim they stole the personal data of over 2 million patients in the cyber attack on Integris Health. This data allegedly includes social security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, phone numbers, insurance information, and employer information. Bleeping Computer was told by patients of Integris Health that these emails contained accurate personal information confirming that patient data was stolen in the attack. That's the kind of stuff that makes my blood run cold. I've had situations where my information has been stolen and you just freak out. You just don't know what to do. And I couldn't imagine getting that email that just confirms your worst fears potentially. And it sucks too because they give you like this devil's bargain saying like, hey, if you want to pay, I think you can pay $50 to just delete it right then and there. Or you can pay, I think, like $5 to view the information that they have. It's $3, I'm sorry. But essentially, that's just like a rabbit hole tactic, I feel like. And I think other experts kind of, agree to that, attest to that. That it's like, hey, we're showing you we have the information and we could leak this to anyone and everyone. And, you're tempted to just be like, well, let me just pay the $50 and make this all go away. I can move on with my life. But the thing is, you don't know if they're going to just say, okay, pocket the money and then still sell the information. You don't know if they're going to try to extort you further. So, experts say, hey, don't give them your information, just, do the best things you can do are in those moments to try to up your security as best you can, doing things like freezing your credit, things of that nature. At least for a year, kind of give you that kind of space to say, hey, hopefully no one's going to jack into my shit and do something very crazy, very wild. But I mean, people will take your information and run with it. That is for sure. There's no doubt about it. But let's see. Bleeping Computer has determined that the website has approximately 4,674,000 data records. However, it is unclear if any are duplicates. They also said that a similar attack happened at Fred Hutchinson's Cancer Center. Fred Hutch patients after the Hunters International ransomware gang breached the hospital. So they're not saying that this is exactly the same or the same people, but they're like, it's very similar. They asked for like the same kind of thing about like the $50. So yeah, maybe it is the same group, but we don't know. But keeping it in the same family and also, some old news that I, missed covering, and I was like, hey, let's just go ahead and cover it. From Security Week, cybersecurity news, insights, and analysis. Ransomware group claims 100 gigabytes of stolen data, stolen from Nissan. The car maker revealed in early December that the internal systems belonging to Nissan Motor Corporation and Nissan Financial Services in Australia and New Zealand have been targeted by hackers. It confirmed on December 22nd that an unauthorized third party illegally accessed some of the company's network systems in Australia and New Zealand and said it had been working on determining what information was impacted. A ransomware group named Akira has taken credit for the attack on Nissan, claiming to have stolen 100 gigabytes of data, including corporate files and personal information belonging to the employees. The cyber and criminals are threatening to leak the data in the coming days, suggesting that Nissan is not willing to pay the ransom they demanded. So, I feel like this is more effective when hackers do it to big corporations. Like, to me, it's really crazy that the other group in the Integra situation was like, oh, we're going to target patients. Like, those bank accounts are only so limited. And it honestly gets to the point where most people are like, when you're so either middle class, low middle class, whatever, you're just like, oh, you're going to steal, take whatever. Yeah, my bank account doesn't have anything in there, bud. I guess you can clear it out if you fucking want. Whereas, like, it's the opposite of, like, let's say a company, because they might get together in a boardroom and say, maybe we should just fucking pay these guys because the information is so integral, or the jam or whatever, and we can pay them to fix it. Okay, let's just get this shit done. And they're way more likely to pay that out. But yeah, I mean, in this situation, I think Nissan did the smart thing, not paying it, or at least allegedly. Obviously, Akira is a badass fucking hacker name, so I would be remiss to not mention that. I didn't put it in like the thumbnail or anything, but they like have their they're like, I guess, list of demands or their page or whatever, and it looks really kind of badass in like a very old school like hacker way. I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to like go on the page and look at it. But yeah, I mean, that was some cyber news that I saw. I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about that. But still, we're keeping it tech for most of this, though this is tech in regards of a lawsuit from CNN. The New York Times sues OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement. Excuse me. The New York Times has sued OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement, alleging that the company's artificial intelligence technology illegally copied millions of Times articles to train ChatGPT and other services to provide people with instant access to information, technology that now competes with the Times. The complaint is the latest in a string of lawsuits that seek to limit the use of alleged scraping of wide swaths of content from across the internet without compensation to train so-called large language artificial intelligence models. Actors, writers, journalists, and other creative types who post their works on the internet fear that AI will learn from their material and provide competitive chatbots and other sources of information without proper compensation. But the Times suit is the first among major news publishers to take on OpenAI and Microsoft, the most recognizable AI brands. Microsoft has a seat on OpenAI's board and a multi-million-dollar investment in the company. So yeah, I mean, this was pretty big news. Once again, kind of missed it on covering this, but it's like, better late than never. Okay, hi. And I do feel like this was like a very interesting development. I know that they had been in talks up until a point saying like, hey, we're going to try to work out a solution that works. But the Times alleges that it had been unable to reach a resolution with the companies. Microsoft and OpenAI claim that the Times works are considered fair use, which gives them the ability to use copyrighted material for a transformative purpose, the complaint states. Now, that part really does feel important to me because I think it's kind of the crux of the conversation, and that's kind of where I live. And I feel like OpenAI does have that kind of claim, but at the same time, what can kind of happen with OpenAI and how OpenAI goes about obtaining the information is very problematic to me. I think it's very fucked up that they can just comb through the internet and do like a digital crawl through and just like harvest this information and then more or less mimic and spit it back out. And I think sometimes that's fine, it's whatever, because it does kind of meet that bar of being transformative. But when you're doing a thing of, let's say you're a person and you're using ChatGPT in a way that to me is weird. You're using it like a news source or like a clone of a news source, and you're saying, hey, regurgitate this article that I'm paywalled in. And the ChatGPT will try to do that. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but what if it gets it wrong, which has happened? That's an issue. And in that regard, it is spreading like a bad kind of information, and it's like linking the Times to that. And I can see how that is kind of incriminating, a problem, and maybe that's a leg for the NYT to stand on here. And I find myself in a weird crux here because I don't like New York Times. I'm being fucking honest with you. I hate that they paywall their fucking shit. Them and the Wall Street Journal, any kind of fucking shit. Like, I get it. It's hard. It's hard out here. But it's like, it's hard out here for me. What the fuck? It's news. Don't you want me to fucking read it? So I get very frustrated by them. But I can understand in the sense of an individual artist, an individual's person, how like fucked up it is that someone's stealing your work, whether it is like, journalism you've done or it's, some kind of work you've made in terms of written material or picture or painting, whatever. And, once again, ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever, comes along and takes it. And it's like, oh, well, I can just make this for you. And it's like, no, you just regurgitated my shit up. That's all you did. And I can see how that's a very frustrating thing and has a way of taking money out of your pocket. So I always find this conversation very interesting. I can't help but kind of get into it. So I figured I'd share and give my 2 cents on it. And then we have one more thing to cover before I let you go into this new year. But you know what that means. I'm going to take my break. Ooh. Oof. All right. From Reuters. McDonald's Malaysia sues Israel boycott movement for $1 million in damages. McDonald's Malaysia has sued a movement promoting boycotts against Israel for false and defamatory statements it says hurt its business, seeking damages amounting to 6 million ringgit or $1.31 million. Malaysia, a majority Muslim country, is a staunch supporter of the Palestinians, and some Western fast food brands in the country, as in some other Muslim nations, have been targeted by boycott campaigns over Israel's military offensive in Gaza. Gerbang Alfar Restaurants, SDN BHD, or GAR, which is the licensee of McDonald's in Malaysia, is suing the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, or BDS, Malaysia movement, for a series of social media postings allegedly linking the fast food franchise, among other companies, to Israel's genocidal war against Palestinians in Gaza. According to the writ of summons dated in December 19th, cited by Reuters, Gerbang Alif Restaurants alleged that BDS in Malaysia incited the public to boycott McDonald's Malaysia, which led to the loss of profit and job cuts, among other damages due to closures and shortened operating hours of its outlets. I was surprised to kind of see this. I think this is one of those moves that's going to wind up backfiring as a whole. I can see how, like, this mini conglomerate within a major conglomerate is saying, hey, man, I'm sick of this shit. We got to fucking get ahead of this shit, man. We got to fight back. And, you want to try to tangle with them legally. But, like, this isn't going to help you. You're just winding up making more of a billboard for it. I think, maybe the leg you're going to try to stand on is to say, hey, we specifically didn't, say or do any of the things or endorse the things that you're saying. But I don't think it's wrong to say, like, hey, McDonald's as an overall umbrella corporation is supporting Israel in these ways. We said it, we showed it. And it's like, we're standing on this. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't eat there. And I think especially that latter part is what is wrong with that? What is illegal about that? They're just simply saying, hey, don't go to McDonald's. So yeah, I mean, I've said this before, in terms of like my thoughts on, ethical consumption under capitalism and how it is very hard to get an overall real win or victory. But I do think that this is a huge misstep by a corporation to try to say, oh, we're going to fight back. We're going to get them in the legal, in the legal system. And it's like, I guess, like, maybe if you win this kind of lawsuit, then, like, you can kind of set a precedent that maybe slows that kind of stuff down or what have you. But I don't think that that's an effective way to combat that stuff. I also think that it's kind of funny that, like, we went from talking, like, kind of about race theory and stuff like that, 2021, 2022, and I'm seeing more now the whole BDS conversation, DEI, divestment, equality initiative, or whatever. It's more talk about that now, between the right and the left, and that's a very interesting development to me. How the political buzzwords change and shift, and we talk about them all as individuals. I find that kind of fascinating. But I said this before. In a lot of ways, like 2023 was a very humbling experience for me, because like, though I say that whole spiel about ethical consumption under capitalism, we have seen from both conservatives, from both leftists, like, hey, if we get together and we sit down and do some shit and we actually talk with our wallets, things are gonna happen. You know what I mean? Is that kind of maybe a short form kind of immediate reaction? Maybe not, we'll see. But it does make an impact. Kid Rock gets to stand up and say, hey, I spanked Bud Light. He gets to say that, you know what I mean? That's crazy. But at the same token, we get to say that, hey, where's the money that Starbucks made? Where's the money that McDonald's made? You get to say that too. So I guess those are wins in that front, and I'm just kind of sitting here and watching it unfold, talking my 2 cents about it as we go. But yeah, I did find this interesting. I don't think this is going to work for Malaysia's McDonald's. I understand what they're trying to say. It's like, hey, you said all these things and now we're making less money. We had to cut jobs and da 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 da. We want our fucking cut. But I just don't think you're going to get it back here. I don't think the legal system's going to give it back to you here. I don't think they should. But what am I? I'm no judge. But yeah, that's all I got for today in this new year. Let's see here. I do have a Patreon if you'd like to support. Become a newsie today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Also, I have a email if you want to send feedback for the free. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then also I'm on all the socials you're on. Feel free to follow me or the podcast or, once again, say what's up there. Appreciate all the cool comments. Love seeing those. Even if you're kooky or crazy, by all means, that's dope. I love looking at that and seeing that. I see you. You are seen. Let's see here. Hopefully you're hitting the like button on the YouTube. Hopefully you're hitting the subscribe button on the YouTube. Like I said, cool, quirky comments, welcome. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.